To Comfort Time with Aunty Yunike. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to share with you today a story that may be of surprise to you or maybe not. Today we're talking about delayed shock. As always, I ask you to continue to share, subscribe, like, and also ensure that you comment. For those who are able, comment down below so that more people can have access to your comments. For those who are not able, you can continue as you have been through my WhatsApp, DMs, or through my email. So today's story is something, as always, that happened to me, and that was of surprise to not only me, but to my parents and people around me. The story I'm going to share with you is a story that most of us growing up is something that we always looked up to. I don't know about others, but I know that people that I grew up with, people at my school, we used to like reading Mills and Bones. Mills and Bones were stories of happily ever after. So happily ever after was stories of you're getting married to your knight in shining armor and such stories, and we always used to love those, and they always had happy endings. So growing up, I had a cousin, her name was Agnes, and she and her husband lived such a story. I had never seen a couple so in love, a couple who did everything together, and they even used to have a song that every time it played on radio, they would say, "Honey, they're playing our song," and they would start dancing. "Because I love you too much, baby." That was the song. I don't remember the other words. So anyway, so I was always happy to be in their presence, always would find a reason to go and visit. I'd always ask Dad if I could go and visit Aggie and spend time with her, because I just used to love being in their space. So now one day we get a message, very good message, that Aggie is pregnant. She had been waiting to have a baby for quite some time, and nothing was happening. They stayed many years, they couldn't have a baby. So finally there was news of a baby. So when I heard that, I was so happy. I even asked for permission from Mom and Dad to go and spend the weekend with them, in the pretext of wanting to go and cook for her, because now she's pregnant. So I did that, and we were very happy. And then now, tragedy happens. We are told she's very sick. By then I'd gone back home, and we are told she's very sick and she's in hospital. So now, what's wrong with her? We didn't know. So we rushed to the hospital to go and hear, and we were told that she had an ectopic pregnancy. And the ectopic pregnancy is one where the pregnancy, instead of being in the womb, is in the fallopian tubes. So because it's in the tube, it really can't grow. So now she was bleeding very badly and needed a blood transfusion. So she was in hospital, the doctors were ready, they were going to do an operation, but then we had a problem. My auntie, her mother, would not okay the operation. She would not okay it because there was blood transfusion involved, because she was Watchtower, Jehovah's Witness. So now they don't allow blood transfusion. So up to now, I don't understand why it was her who had to sign and not her husband, but I was young, so I don't really remember what the issues were then. So anyway, so now we were losing time and we were losing her. So I was very, very worried. I knew that the only person who can make her change her mind or who can bypass her decision was my dad. Because my dad was a policeman and he behaved as a policeman every time. He made decisions and you just do what he said. So I knew that if dad could come, this could be sorted out. So I immediately went to the police station. I talked to the officer in charge. I explained it's a matter of life and death. Dad needs to come back. He had gone for work in another town. So I said, Dad needs to come back. And so they said, okay, we'll make sure that he comes back. So they called him and immediately he traveled back. He traveled the whole night. By morning, he came, he arrived and we took him straight to the hospital. And when we got to the hospital, I was very upset with Auntie and went to the doctors immediately and told them, please go ahead, where do I have to sign? And then we were told, sorry, we've just lost that window. It's too late now, we've already almost lost her. So that was very emotional, that was very sad, and there was nothing we could do. But the husband went into a depression. He couldn't take it. He took to now drinking after that. So anyway, we went through the process. We had the funeral, we buried, and I went back home and life continued. But then about 2-3 months later, one day I just woke up and I was a mess. I was crying, I was sobbing, I was just a total mess. And Mom didn't understand what was going on. She tried talking to me, I was not responding. She tried everything. Now she got so worried because I really was breaking down in like huge sobs. So she called Dad to come, says, I don't know what's happening with her, but I think she's dying. So Dad was very worried and immediately rushed home, found me, tried to talk to me. I couldn't say anything to him. So immediately they said, okay, we take her to the hospital. So they took me to the hospital and the hospital asked, did anything bad happen to her recently? And both of them said, no, nothing happened. She's been okay, she's been going to school, nothing. So they said, oh, what about like a month ago or a few weeks ago? And no, nothing bad has happened, everything has been okay. So we really don't understand what's going on with her. So by then that sedated me. So the doctor said, no, something must have triggered this. And then what about earlier? Did anything happen to her, to someone she cares about or things like that? Then Mom said, the only thing that happened is that her sister, you know, my cousin in Africa, cousins are sisters. So she said her sister died. But she took it very well, she was very strong, we went through everything. The only time she moved, she was trying to comfort her brother-in-law. The only time that she came home was after her brother-in-law was taken by his family to the village because he was really not doing so good. And they thought he needed to go to the village to see if they could use some traditional medicine to help him recover from the loss of his wife, because he took it very, very badly. So now, but as for her, she was very good. She helped out with the cooking, helped out with everything. And she for someone, you know, who had lost someone she really loved, she was very strong. So the doctor said, yep, that is the problem. She did not mourn her sister. What you're seeing now is what is called delayed shock. So she's been moving with all these emotions, carrying on like nothing happened. And now this is when it's coming out. So now sharing this story, because I know we have a lot of people behaving strangely And we don't understand why. People break down and cry. People sometimes will even laugh and we think they're crazy. You know, mental health is very, very important. When you see someone behaving strangely, don't just assume they're crazy. Try and find out what's going on with them and always take them to the hospital. Because my brother-in-law was taken to the village to look for traditional medicine when all he needed was counseling. He could not take that loss. It was just too huge for him. But instead of helping him in a way that could have helped him, they took him to the village where he just continued to break down, had a nervous breakdown, and this is something that is happening to most of us. A lot of time we are busy, dealing with issues that are beyond us, but instead of getting help, we look for issues or places where there is no help. And here I'm advising us to continue to destigmatize mental health institutions. Those are there to help us. If someone is not well, you take them there, they will look at the issues that have happened to them and help them, and you'll be helping them. But by calling them names and calling institution names, we are not helping ourselves, we are not helping our loved ones. So I thought I should share this story as a way of encouraging you to say, please, let's look out for each other, let's be each brother's keeper. And that mental health is real and mental health should not be ignored. I pray that this information will help you to be more alert, to look at what's happening around you, and to help others who may be hurting. Maybe you don't even know or where the pain or the anger is coming from. Because most of the times, when something is suppressed, it comes out in the wrong places. There's one issue that I've always battled with of families or even parents telling children that boy children should not cry. Boys don't cry. Why should boys not cry? Because boys are human beings with emotions like everybody else. When you prick a boy child, blood will flow just as it will flow when a girl child is pricked. So why shouldn't a boy cry? Because all of us have a feminine and a masculine part to us, and both of them should be allowed to thrive. So no one should be told not to be emotional, because when they don't release their emotions, they bottle it in. That's how you end up finding someone is killing someone or killing themselves, because if they are not released, they'll come out in one way or another, and in most cases it's a negative way. So please, let's be alert, let's be attentive to ourselves and to people around us. So please continue to share, to subscribe, and to like. And please, please, please continue to send those messages. I love them, I read them all. And like I've shared, please, if you're able to send them on the platform, it's better because everybody will get to see. But I still appreciate that you're sending them through the emails, through the DMs, and through the WhatsApp. It's still fine. And one thing I forgot to share also is that please, if you get your link through WhatsApp, press on the link, not on the picture, because when you press on the picture, you will not be able to have a provision for subscribing. A lot of people have been calling saying they are failing to subscribe, and I've just realized that they receive their link through the videos and they're pressing on the picture and not on the link. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next video.